Well, it tells you that there's so much activity from all of these different players. First of all, I'm a huge Jamie Dimon fan and a shareholder of JP Morgan as well. And I listened to his comments regarding this. I, for one, would welcome the regulator to come in here and start to apply regulatory platforms to all of these crypto currencies and all of the level 1 and level 2 blockchains, because you've got to understand something. People are very excited about crypto, but the truth is, the real money, the institutional money, is not there yet. So the majority of Bitcoin is held by individuals or hedge funds or high net worth individuals or family offices in the domestic market. But I work closely with lots of pension plans and sovereign funds. They're not touching any of this yet for one singular reason. The regulator has not ruled. And secondly, there's no infrastructure to actually be compliant. You have to think about the way the American economy is developed versus the Chinese centrally regulated economy. The innovation, and today in the world, the US economy is still the largest, most productive economy, is because we embrace innovation. Cryptocurrencies, blockchain, all of this is technical innovation and provides productivity enhancement and also reducing fees. The largest market on earth is the currency market. There's just one use case I'd point to you and say that when I want to buy a stock in Swiss francs or in euro or in British pounds or in any other country and be on that domestic exchange, I have to go through the whole FX currency traders platform where I pay fees left and right. Over time, as regulators adopt payment systems that are, regulated and approved by regulators in multiple geographies, those costs and that transparency and that block ledger is going to be far more efficient than anything we're doing right now. And I think even the SEC realizes that and knows that this is innovation and it requires a good study before they actually rule on it. But I don't think we're going to be like China, where the great leader, or whatever you want to call him, decides personally he doesn't like how many hours your kids are watching videos or whether or not blockchain has merit as a productivity tool. That's not the way the American economy works. So I'm making the assumption that you just have to wait until the regulator makes their movement. And there's so many different use cases that look so much great potential that why wouldn't I be an investor? Why wouldn't I place some bets with a diversified portfolio of cryptocurrencies and level 1 and level 2 blockchains? And so the reason you would want to take a position in this is you see the long-term opportunity of saving costs, being more efficient, more transparent, faster. All of these things can be provided by cryptocurrencies and the blockchain. This is great technical innovation, but you don't have a regulator that's made a decision yet. So in some ways, Jamie Dimon's right. We should get it regulated, but that's also why I'm a shareholder, because in cryptocurrencies, because when the regulator does finally resolve this issue, there's going to be a huge amount of capital that's been sitting on the sidelines coming in to take allocations from the institutional perspective. And that I'm pretty excited about. Let's go beyond, if we're going to go macro, let's go beyond Bitcoin, because people think that the only way you can invest in crypto is owning Bitcoin or Ethereum. The truth is there's so much activity going on, so much research, so much development going on in other areas of decentralized finance that there's huge opportunities beyond just Bitcoin. So The way I look at it, the best way, and this is a personal interpretation, I'm not saying that any of the indexes have decided this yet, but I'm now viewing cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance, so-called DeFi, as the 12th sector of the S&P. Nobody's decreed that yet, but I'm doing it in terms of how I manage my own operating portfolio and the operating company. So in my view of the world in investing, I look at never owning more than 20% in any one sector, currently 11 sectors, including real estate in the S&P 500, and never owning more than 5% of any one name in any sector. So when I wrap my head around those mandates that are self-imposed in how we operate, we make sure that we think of crypto that same way. So we don't want to just own Bitcoin. We do. Sure. But I also own Ethereum, ETH. I also own Solana. I also own all kinds of other blockchains, level 1, level 2. And what I've decided to do, because I get bombarded with questions about what I own outside of Bitcoin, I've formed a relationship with FTX. As you may be aware, I'm a paid spokesperson for them and also a shareholder now in the FTX private company, because I wanted a platform that could actually hold my interests in a compliant basis with compliant infrastructure, so that I can report it to my own internal officers for compliance and my external auditors that can then, of course, sign off on my statements that I have to provide to regulators. FTX was big enough to do that, so I'm using them. But I don't want to ever be seen as someone who finds collecting those 12,000 coins out there. And you see this happening on the internet all the time. Somebody starts promoting a coin that no one's ever heard of. I don't want to be involved in any of that. So I'm just going to disclose my holdings. You understand kind of the way I look at it, no more than 20%. Currently, I'm on target to get to 7% in cryptocurrencies and crypto tokens and crypto level 1, level 2 chains by the end of December. And then I'm simply going to disclose what I own. And, hopefully we can have an intelligent conversation about why and what I own. But I'm certainly not going to be flipping and trading and day trading and all that stuff. I'm still amassing positions, which is why I'm saying sometime towards the end of the year, you and I'll have this conversation again, and I'll disclose the percentage holdings of everything I've got. But I must tell you, it's broadening out every day. And I'm including the equities of companies that are 100% engaged in the crypto business. So I'm trying to get as diversified as I can get. And you've got to remember, when you go past 5% weighting, which I'm on my way to go past, you have to have a stomach for volatility. I mean, we get lots of volatility in these names. I don't care whether you own Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything else. The vol is really, really heavy. And I'll tell you why. It's because there's no institutional support. That's why. That's why it's such a benefit if we could ever open this up, get the regulator on board, and get 1 or 2 or 3% allocation into cryptocurrencies within the sovereign and pension plans. It would reduce volatility in an incredible way. But we're not there yet, and we're probably a couple of years away at the earliest. Well, I don't have a crystal ball on those issues. I simply listen to institutional investors. They, off the record, tell me what they're thinking, and they brought up the ESG issue 2 years ago, saying they have ESG committees, they have sustainability committees that look at every asset class, including crypto, including Bitcoin. And at that time, there were lots of people burning coal to create electricity in various geographies around the world to mine Bitcoin. That's simply not sustainable, and it doesn't work, and they didn't want to own those coins. The initiative now to solve that problem and to bring in that huge amount of institutional capital that's available to invest in, just let's talk about Bitcoin, the granddaddy of all cryptocurrencies, is to set up operations in places like West Texas, where you can do it with wind and solar, and also provide extra electricity to the grid when you're not using it all for mining. And so there's lots of potential there. There's lots of capital being raised to do that. And those coins for these miners are going to be held sequestered. They're going to be awarded using these clean ways of mining them. And they'll be owned by the institutions that have these sustainability mandates. So they'll know the origin and the date of award, and they'll know that it was done sustainably, and they're happy to hold it. What people need to understand is most institutions don't consider Bitcoin a trading vehicle. They consider it as property. They think it's just like a building going up in value over time. And that's the majority of concern around sustainability. So if they can buy the coin, mine sustainably, and just hold on to it, know with certainty the origin of that individual coin, problem.